Philippians chapter 2, verses 23 through 24. Him therefore I hope to send presently, so soon as I shall see how it will go with me. But I trust in the Lord that I also myself shall come shortly. When I served in the United States Army, I was stationed in Germany. My tour there was to be for 3 years. However, due to a shortage of personnel, I was involuntarily extended for 6 months. So I was away from the United States for 3.5 years. About 2 months before I was to rotate back to the United States, I put my wife and my daughter on an airplane and sent them to go back home, for our unit was going to the field to do some maneuvering. I put in for leave in conjunction with my permanent change of station, PCS, so that I could travel back home with them. But it was denied because I was told that by the commander that I was too important for the unit. Others were granted the ability to go back, but I was not, and of course that bothered me a little bit. The entire time I was on that field exercise, I wrote a letter to my wife every day, and every time there was a mail call, I hoped to receive a letter from home. Yet nothing really came, yet we were still out there in the field. And while the field maneuver ended in time, and I finally got to go on an airplane home, I called home to give my family the time of arrival at the JFK International Airport in New York. And when I got to customs, the agent I met asked me how long I had been gone, and I told him I was gone 3.5 years. He asked, "And you have not been back here for that long?" And I stated, "Yeah, that's correct." Well, he sent me right on through without question through the customs. I still remember the scene at the airport when I went through the doors to the waiting area where my family was. I had my duffel bag hanging on my shoulder and my suitcase in my left hand. There at the gate was my wife, my mother, and my father waiting for me. My wife came rushing over towards me and hugged me with tears in her eyes, and I dropped my suitcase, and her hug caused my army hat to be cocked on my head a little bit. At the same day, my dad grabbed my right hand and shook my hand, and my mother stood at a distance patiently waiting for her turn to give me a hug also. When I got to my folks' home, we had a great reunion, something for which I had really longed for a long time. So why do I relate this long chapter of my life to you? It's to demonstrate the bonds of love that hold us together, bonds that time and distance cannot break. Paul was in Roman imprisonment when he wrote the letter to the church at Philippi. And Paul loved the churches, and that meant he loved the parishioners who were in those churches, for the church really is the parishioners. And like me, he longed to see those whom he had loved. Neither the Roman imprisonment, the distance, nor the time away from the church could break the bond of love that he had for them in Christ. You know, I believe it is the same for every pastor. At least it is that way for me. I've made some very strong bonds with parishioners in the congregations that I've pastored over the years, and I would love to see them again. And I probably won't see them face to face, but I know that there is a great day of reunion to come. It's when we all get to heaven. However, for now, like Paul, I send a letter out every year at Christmas time to those who I can. And moreover, I look forward to that day when we shall all meet again, and we're going to have a great time of rejoicing when we all come in the presence of the Lord.